Bueno, ahora en este momento estamos con Bonnie Docherty, separadas un poco de las discusiones en Naciones Unidas sobre la HRW, la Convención sobre ciertas armas convencionales. Bonnie es investigadora senior de la División de Armas de Human Rights Watch y directora asociada de la Clínica de Derechos Humanos de la Escuela de Derecho de Harvard y autora de numerosas publicaciones. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having
Bonnie.
me.
To have the time to take the time to talk with us, and you as an academic, when the concept of humanitarian disarmament arrives, and how your academics start to introduce in your analysis in this world, and how you deal with this concept.
So I think of humanitarian disarmament coming out of more of a practitioner's field than an academic field. And as you know, it's sort of people-centered approach in terms of process. Civil society is involved, but increasingly academia is becoming involved as well. For example, in the discussions of lethal autonomous weapons systems, there's more academics than there used to be. So I think the people-centered approach moving beyond governments includes academics as well as civil society. For my personal work, I teach about humanitarian disarmament, and I emphasize that it's a move to control the human suffering of weapons, and beginning with the Mine Ban Treaty and then going all the way through cluster munitions and nuclear weapons and so forth. One thing that I've done personally in the academic field is they had a big conference on humanitarian disarmament at Harvard Law School in March and brought together practitioners in the field, civil society, academics, and others to talk about what does humanitarian disarmament mean and where is the movement going in the future.
Okay, so and how do you think, or how you see this concept is being addressed in all this process or international community?
I think it's being addressed in two ways. One is procedurally. I think in terms of process, the most common process now in disarmament is to involve civil society and with states, so civil society, such as the International Campaign to Ban Landmines, the Cluster Munition Coalition, ICANN, and so forth, are driving the process, but also working in partnership with states. I also see it growing in the sense that it's in terms of the substance of humanitarian disarmament. So the Cluster Munition Convention, built after the Landmine Treaty, the new nuclear weapons ban, follow the same model, and all of them include both bans as well as efforts to remediate the problems, so help victims and impact environmental remediation and so forth. So it's they're building on each other, and there's also new campaigns that are borrowing on their methods in terms of explosive weapons in populated areas, killer robots, and so forth. So it's becoming the sort of norm for disarmament these days.
And do you think that this concept, just talking about the future, do you think this concept is going to evolve? Is already here, and is not? No one is going just to avoid a discussion around this. It's going to be the base of negotiations.
I think it's here to stay. I think the Cluster Munition Convention in 2008 showed that the first use of humanitarian disarmament in the 90s with the Mine Ban Treaty wasn't an aberration. This is something that's become accepted, and I think it's been reinforced with the 2017 treaty to ban nuclear weapons, because that expanded it from conventional weapons into weapons of mass destruction, and expanded it from explosive remnants of war to toxic remnants of war. So it's shown that the approach is not just established, but it's adaptable to new and even the most controversial situations of disarmament.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
We'll be in touch.
My pleasure.